Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Anything Wrestling Podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. We are back here today with another episode. Unfortunately, today we are missing Dan the Man. However, we still got the Shant and...
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Commish. Not only am I the advocate of the podcast, but I secretly took the Money in the Bank contract last night. And for some reason, someone else took it out of my hands. We'll discuss who did that later on in the episode. But today's episode is brought to you in part by... we got no sponsors. We'll use yesterday's. What was it? Papa John's Pizza?
Yeah.
Better ingredients. Better pizza. But for God's sakes, order Domino's.
Thank you.
They're over expensive. Have you ever had a Papa John's pizza?
I have, but it's not really that good.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Well, if you want to catch all your favorite WWE programming, you can do it only on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
$9.99.
It's not $10.
It's not $1,000. And then when you get back, you will announce that it's not only $1 million,
but $9.99.
And also, this podcast is brought to you by the Anything Wrestling Podcast 1 Instagram page. Wow, I can't believe I hesitated.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Long day, apparently.
It's been a long, annoying 12, 13 hours. Sorry, guys. I've kind of been in and out of watching this. I'm going to be filling in the role of the match breakdown guy. And you will get all our glorious commentary about this pay-per-view. Overall, before we go into depth, what did you think of it?
So, I want to take a survey here.
Hey, yo.
And I wish Dan could be here to join us, but did it feel like Money in the Bank was being run by someone who was not Vince McMahon?
Oh, you mean someone that's not a McMahon by blood?
Yes.
Someone that's not related to a McMahon by blood?
What?
You mean someone that likes to play the game? Someone who is the king of kings? The cerebral... Dude, you have too many nicknames. Yeah, it felt like it was actually a Triple H type pay-per-view. Like, not NXT-like, because NXT, it's like more indie, like hardcore aggressive, but more like he can actually run a show of the main roster and pay-per-view status, which is kind of like he's really stepping up.
What's so interesting is that I felt like Money in the Bank broke tradition. It broke the boundaries that was set by Vince McMahon. Like, for example, the Cruiserweight match, shockingly, was not on the pre-show.
You mean it's an actual match in the main card?
Granted, it wasn't that good this time around. But yeah.
I have notes on that.
And then you had stuff like Roman Reigns is about to come out and Elias just attacks him and we get a segment. And I've said it before, you can't really bury Elias. So yeah, Roman, get your 6-second victory, sure. And then you had like the whole backstage story of Sami Zayn talks to Triple H and then he's found hanging somewhere and then Braun Strowman is there looking around for Sami and Braun Strowman goes, I didn't do anything. And you almost feel like it's that old school Attitude Era storytelling of backstage segment, cut, backstage segment, cut, backstage segment, cut.
Like, it didn't feel rushed. It felt natural. It felt like...
And it wasn't in the ring, which is the best part. I've said it before. You need to have stuff happen outside of the ring because everything is in the ring, in the ring, in the ring.
Or outside of the ring or around the ring area.
Or ringside.
Leave it backstage. Do what they used to do. Build the story up. Build the momentum up. Even with that little segment, it saved a lot of the show. Yeah. Personally, I liked it. Again, maybe this is the direction we're heading in, hopefully, with pay-per-views. Especially since we have a big event where I'm sure some superstars won't travel overseas to.
I wonder why.
Yeah. But you should get into this.
Yes, we got a lot to get through, so let's do it.
All right, we're gonna start with the preliminary match of the kickoff show, which was the Uso Penitentiary
Down since
Day 1
is age.
versus the new Daniel Bryan and Rowan. I thought this was for the tag team championship. Apparently, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it was just a regular tag match.
That got me too because I'm like, this makes I think if Usos were crowned champion, then your superstar shakeup would have been completely irrelevant.
Well, that's what Corey kept complaining in the at ringside. Like, what's the point of it? Why are we gonna have SmackDown champions now on Raw?
You gotta admit. So, for those of you who don't know, Kamish has something towards Corey Graves, and I get it. But you gotta admit, last night he was on point about everything.
Yes, he was. For once, I didn't feel a cringe-worthy moment with him.
Other than when Renee would try to.
I think she brings that out of him.
Renee, we love you, and you're nice, and you're beautiful.
Go back to NXT.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Just go back.
But I actually didn't see this match.
I did. It was actually just as good as their match on SmackDown was when Daniel and Rowan earned the belts.
Okay.
It kind of leaves that, because Corey even pointed out, does this mean that they're number one contenders for a tag team championship that they can't even have access to only when you have the quote unquote wild card rule? What is going on with that? Is this code, Vince, or is this your excuse to get talent to cross over sometimes? Like, just be honest about it.
I don't know. But I'm not a big fan of seeing Daniel Bryan on the pre-show. I get it. You have to make time for everybody else. But
I mean, the only thing I kind of got annoyed with was the fact that they were still being gimmicky even before the match. They're comparing Daniel and Rowan to being like SpongeBob and Patrick. Sorry, I was just like, you're really not going to get that out of them, really? Okay.
Usos need to stop with that juvenile stuff.
But it did surprise me that Daniel Bryan went from being a main eventer to a kickoff show starter. Victim of circumstance, or is it just because for once we're getting a switch up in the lineup of matches?
I think, again, that's the thing, is that Money in the Bank broke restrictions. It broke tradition. If this is like a one-time thing where it's like, hey, Daniel, for this one, we need you to be on the pre-show, but like on the next ones, you'll be on the main card. I don't see why even main event tier guys can't do that. Mm-hmm. I know it's not desired. I know it's not the best, but we gotta
change it up.
You gotta change it up.
So there is a grading system for this, just like I usually do with all pay-per-views that we review that we are into. Surprisingly, I gave this a B.
Wow.
It was a pretty good match. I was entertained the whole time. Again, you take away that gimmicky shit from the Usos, they're 5-star competitors.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's move into the kickoff of the actual show itself, which surprised me that we started it. I guess we needed to start with an even bigger bang. The first Money in the Bank match to crown the Miss Money in the Bank. We have the following competitors. I'll name them from winner to every other participant. Miss Money in the Bank herself, Bayley, versus Naomi, versus former Miss Two-Time Money in the Bank, even though there's only been 2 matches, Carmella. Yes, I don't count the one on SmackDown. Wow. Versus Nikki Cross, versus Mandy Rose, versus Ember Moon, versus Dana Brooke, versus Natalya. Let's see. I have Dan's notes. He did forward them to us earlier.
Let's get his notes.
The show opened with the women's Money in the Bank match, which all in all went pretty good. Bayley walks away with the win, and good for her. There was a moment where I kind of freaked out with is Carmella legitimately injured, or is this a new buildup of a new rivalry between her and Mandy? Because I don't know if you noticed, at one point she's telling her, like, I think breaking kayfabe, like, hey, back the fuck up, like, stop.
What happened? The first 5 minutes of the pay-per-view was kind of a blur. What happened?
So the match is going on. I guess Mandy drags Carmella down, and she lands off base
on the rung of the ladder.
Something happened.
Okay.
Where she tweaked her leg, and like Mandy's trying to attack her, and still in story, but Carmella's telling her like, no, stop, like, and she kept telling her like, back the fuck off, like, move. So she literally throws herself out of the ring and gets checked by the doctors, and then they walk her out. Again, I thought maybe she tore her ACL, maybe she has a sprain, I don't know. But then you see her come back with the knee wrapped up.
Yeah.
Although she's super kicking people with that bad leg. So it's like, you broke kayfabe to re-break it, to unbreak it? What are you doing? I do like, however, that there is this rivalry starting maybe with Mandy and Carmella.
Well, I was actually hoping that I was waiting for this. When Sonya literally carried Mandy up that ladder, I was like, if you drop her, like, we got it.
I would have been sold on that. I think like that'd be the super twist if Bayley doesn't win. Like last minute, she's up there with her. Like, why am I doing this for you? I gave up my spot for you.
Yeah.
But it's right there for me.
And then Bayley just grabs it. That eclipse from the outside to the inside was
Jesus
scary.
Christ, I freaked out.
Bless you, both Ember and Natalia. Bless both of you. I thought, the match was great. I also liked Naomi's parts where she would split her legs and avoid the ladders and all that acrobatic stuff.
And she's kind of like the Kofi of the match.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it like Naomi was, I think, my third pick. I said Ember, Bayley, and Naomi.
Yeah. In that order.
Yeah. So, but hey, I think it's about time that Bayley won. The poor thing has been on the main roster for 2.5 years now, has done very little of relevance. And
I think they finally found a way to like, hey, you really want your moment? We're gonna give it to you. You need to prove you're worth it.
And if they don't focus so much more on the whole thing of like, she, because there's that whole notion of like, oh, Bayley, looks like, a child, and like that's supposed to be the gimmick. I think a lot of people forget that Bayley can wrestle a pretty damn good match. Mm-hmm. Very good wrestling ability. And I'm really happy that, well, we'll get into it, but she gets her moment later on in the night. But
so overall, I mean, granted that she won the match, she's now the Miss Money in the Bank. There was so much opportunity for a couple of the competitors in there. I just think if it wasn't Bayley, it could have been Ember or Naomi. But I'm glad it was her. I actually gave this an A, along with a side note of, I swear to God, Sonya, just deck Mandy in the face one day already. Just start your rivalry, because this is going to be another Sasha and Bayley type thing where love, hate, love.
Drag it.
Nothing with it. Bury it. Also, Charlie, please don't mention Sasha Banks ever again in a post-interview match.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I was like, she's not on Raw.
Wait, that's not her name. Basha Sanks?
Oh, God. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Basha Sanks. She's not on Raw, even though she quote-unquote is. She's not on vacation. She's a spoiled brat holding the company hostage.
Wow.
So she gets what she wants, like usually.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh, there's not enough time.
Yeah.
But I gave this one an A. Let's move forward to the United States Championship match which is one Rey Mysterio of the 619 versus Joey Samoa Blowy, Samoa Joe. Repeat of WrestleMania 35?
I picked this one out and I read a few articles that confirmed it. I'm guessing that when Joe got the broken nose or when blood came out, I'm guessing the ref got word through the earpiece of, hey, go home, go home, go home. Which I understand because, they take injuries and bleeding and all that very serious nowadays.
Not as the bloodbaths of the past.
So, but I mean, when it comes to health, I'm all for it. So if we had to end the match, that's fine. I just thought that you could have had Joe retain. You didn't have to take it away from him. I liked what he was doing,
That we called Joe to win. Dan's the only one that called Ray as the winner.
But this one I feel like is more out of circumstance. Because
do you think it was like, hey, unfortunately, for now,
he might have a broken nose, so put the title on Ray. Go, ref. Call it. And by the way, his shoulder was up, clear as day.
There's a lot of controversial ref issues right now.
Especially at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and do you notice it's the same referee almost? Well, it's the same Raw referee.
Is it?
Because it'll be brought up in one of the matches later on that we discuss. He took a broken nose. He looked like he wanted to keep going.
Is it confirmed that it's broken?
I haven't read it just yet. I mean...
Because that blood was coming out, so...
Dan said Joe gets busted open in a short match, which gives Ray his Grand Slam. Not sure where they're going with the Dominic thing, but I guess we'll see. I think the extra added part of it with Samoa Joe and Ray, I think that's kind of like Joe taking his frustrations out. Like, really? I can keep going, but you're going to strip me of the belt like this? I think he's kind of pissed about that.
I think I've said it before. Joe finally gets a break. Again, he could have been the 5-minute guy where he disposes of everyone within record time. I still felt like even with the broken nose, if it is broken, you could have had Joe put him in the coquina clutch, put him to sleep, and that's it. You build on the whole thing of, oh shit, again, he put Ray, out within a minute, or so. So I get it. Circumstance dictates that they had to maybe do something else, but we'll have to see where they're going.
By the way, the network always plays in the back while we do these episodes, and my God, we're getting to the one moment I didn't want to see, which I saw either way.
And now he can't unsee it.
I even saw it since yesterday. I was still like, what just happened? I graded the Ray versus Joe match a C. Even though it was so short, there was still a lot to it. Yeah. As minimal as the match was, actually a minute 40. But moving forward to the steel cage match, we have Shane. I have everything handed to me on a silver platter. McMahon versus Mike, The Miz, along with the Misses on USA Network, Mizanian. Miz putting Shane over a lot lately.
Good match. Again, the ref enforces a rule 1 second, then he doesn't another second.
Same ref.
And Corey, was it? No.
It was Corey.
Was it Corey or Michael who called it out?
One of them did.
I called out, I'm like, when Miz had the figure 4, Shane goes over to the ropes, he grabs the ref, goes, no, it's a steel cage match, can't do it. But then he hits him with the skull crushing finale, Shane gets his foot on the rope break. And I'm like,
you call a non-rope break on a submission hold because it's legal in a steel cage match, but you call a rope break on a 3 count even though it's legal?
And then Michael tries to save it by saying maybe the ref is trying to look out for his well-being and his job because Shane owns the company. Nice save.
That's crap.
Nice save, but I don't think anybody's buying it. Personally, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think I even called it. If I'm thinking, Shane wins again, and then maybe by the time we get to Extreme Rules or whatever the next pay-per-view is.
Here's my thing with this. It's a classic heel versus face. did remind me a lot of the Attitude Era. The whole thing of Shane slipping out through his shirt and falling.
I think it's supposed to be symbolic, if anything.
Yeah, that to me is like, you're barely getting by, and I like the way they're painting it. Is like, technically, you know, the Miz should have won both matches by now, but Shane still gets away with it in a classic like heel.
Just out of
maneuver.
circumstance.
Yeah.
And I think Michael Cole even called out. He's like, I don't think Shane won much last night, as much as he just survived.
Dan says Shane snakes his way out of the win this time by stripping down, which was a solid way to keep building his heel character, which, like, again, face, heel, they're both pulling it off well. And progresses Miz's thirst for revenge. He's not mad at it. I actually gave this one an A. I actually liked this match a lot.
It was entertaining.
Regardless of the bullshit that's going on with the referees, I still think it was a good match.
You can all incorporate it into the story as well, but you had one or two nasty bumps in there, like when Miz just hurls Shane off and he just lands. But yeah, no, I guess we'll just have to see where this one goes.
Moving forward to what was surprisingly out of nowhere for the Cruiserweight Championship, we have Tony Ness versus Arya Daivari.
Alberto Del Rio, maybe? 2.0?
Never know. A Cruiserweight match on the main card.
We've talked about this a lot. And
We've begged for this.
But, again, I don't want this to sound like, oh, you got what you want, but yet you're still complaining. I didn't find this match to be as entertaining as, like, the 10 matches that preceded it before.
Here's my thing. I don't care who complains about it. We get what we want, yes. Are we entitled to complain? Yes. Why? Because we've seen these matches always be upbeat, competitive, fast, high-flying.
Stiff.
No matter what. This match, total opposite, like a normal match.
Yeah.
Was it the pressure of being on the main card? Was it not delivering enough? What happened? I mean, I even wrote it. Where's the high flying? Where's the fast paced excitement that's usually in these matches? I get it. It felt like a regular wrestling match, which was still good. Don't get me wrong. It was a good match between the two. At one point, I actually was rooting for Daivari to win.
I thought for a second he got it when he did he did something, did the frog splash, then did the lariat, and I'm like, oh shit, he's got it. But then Tony Nese kicks out.
You still see the kickouts, you still see the competitiveness, but it just wasn't there, and it kind of disappointed. Tony Nese retains, as I'd have expected. Skipped the match, but I'm sure it was fun if you're into that kind of thing. Wow.
Okay.
That just shows Dan's really not
An
that
advocate
invested.
for 205 Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just my sentiments.
I gave this one a B. I mean, it would have been higher again if it was all the normal we expect out of it, but it was still a good match. Wrestling wise, it was still a good match.
Yeah.
Here we go. Moving on to was just a whole bunch of excitement, enjoy, what the fuck. Starting first with the Raw Women's Championship match, we have Becky, the Man, Lynch,
the Baxter,
versus the Southern Belle, Lacey Evans, with the Woman's Right. I don't know where I come up with this shit, guys. Sorry, but I like the whole build-up of you have the man and then how to treat the lady.
Yeah.
Everything about that was great. There was a lot though that in this match had me like
Really?
I wasn't as impressed.
By?
Both.
Really?
I don't know what it was. Like
I'm shocked. Because
like
I was going to say Lacey stood out to me in this match.
She did.
Impressive.
She was impressive, but not at like... I guess it's because of the ending.
The what?
The ending of it. Of theirs, at least.
You know what? That could be a third ref botch.
That is a third ref botch.
Because I thought it would have been more climactic if the ref goes 1, 2, and then Becky just grabs her arm and reverses it.
To the disarmer.
And then Lacey tapped out a little too quick. I thought you could have built it up where she tries to reach for the ropes and Becky goes, not today, drags her back and gets it back in. And then you see the tap out.
And the thing is that okay, when they replayed it, who's counting to 4? Corey. 1, 2.
Again, you
3,
gotta agree with them.
4. And I was like, I did. And I was like, what? I don't know if the ref was trying to tell Lacey, like, you need to turn around. You need to turn around. Or, like, you need to let Becky turn you around. Maybe the hesitation in the count or no count. But I was just, okay, the match itself, like, yeah, Lacey showed up. She gave it.
I liked her gimmick, too. Like, pulling the skirt, getting the gold guns out and shooting the
Lacey bills.
Yeah.
I actually like that. Like, again,
that's what I talk about. She's very different. When she comes out, you feel like there's an all new like vibe to the product.
She plays into her character,
yeah,
and she plays into what fans want out of her as far as like this modern day.
Yeah.
Because if you were to try to pull that off back then, you would have been like, where's the nudity? Where's the like 2-piece?
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
So I don't know. Okay.
The botch killed me.
The ref thing?
Yeah, and it's like, dude, that's like 3 in one night already.
Well, I agree. Yes, that kind of takes it away, but I'm gonna say great match. I loved it. I was very impressed by Lacey. It looked like there were a couple of stiff shots by Becky. Like she would like slap, her Lacey's chest. I'm like, Jesus.
Let's see if he wrote anything on that part.
See what, because that's his girl. So.
Okay. Becky polishes off Lacey as she should have. Lacey went face to armpit to face with her handkerchief. Yeah, that was gross.
Yeah.
Come on, Lacey, don't be gross.
Don't be nasty.
So that's his note for that. I gave that part of the match a C just because of the ref botch. Otherwise, they both did a hell of a thing. Now, the fact that you can't even let the poor girl fucking rest, all of a sudden, yes, I'm not copying my daddy's image, but I'm remixing and modifying his music. We have
Charlotte
Flair racing the hit versus
Charlotte.
the man.
Flair.
Charlotte, I live in my dad's shadow, Flair, versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
This
is what I wrote. What the fuck? I guess she has to defend it right after. But Charlotte isn't as good a heel as her father ever has been.
Wow.
Dude, come on. Like, when you would watch Rick on TV, or at least back in the day, or even in, like, past clips of him, he sold it so well. Like, here's the thing. When he's a heel, and he was, not only is it, I don't like the guy, but it's like you respect him. Daughter, on the other hand, it's like, no, you're just fucking annoying as hell right now.
I think it's once again another case of like what's worked before, let's just repackage it and use it again. I think that if Charlotte had dropped the theme music and the wooing and all that and just would have tried to come up with her own character, it would have been a little bit more. She's still an impressive athlete, don't get me wrong. I just felt like, really, again, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte? Now, here's the thing. In the back of my mind, I'm like, if what happened later on that night happened, it would have been worth it. Because you kind of had this story in the background of Bayley was supposed to win. She didn't. Charlotte took her place. She's going to compete for the title again. So the match it didn't really stick out to me. I really don't remember a whole lot. They protected Becky very well when Lacey comes in, gives the woman's right, big boot. Okay.
That's the cop-out. That's the cop-out where I have a big problem with.
But considering what came next,
that's the only thing that saved it. That's the saving grace.
Because trust me, if Act 3 didn't happen, the whole time when Charlotte was champion for all 50 seconds or whatever it was, the whole time I'm like, Bailey, cash in.
I'm sure Triple H is back to like,
Bailey, get
you're
your
late.
ass out here.
You're late.
Cash in.
Where the hell is she? This is what, again, if that didn't happen, I swear with the woman's right and then the boot and we ended like that, I would have thrown a fit. I would have fucking hated life. I thought it's like, okay, you guys just really don't care. This is what he said. But then she hands Charlotte too many belts. Pick up title 9. Yeah, we can get into the next thing. So Bailey cashes in her money in the bank for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is what Dan writes to complete the whole statement. But then she hands Charlotte too many belts. Pick up title 9. But thank the maker that Bailey cashes in and takes it away. Congratulations to Bailey. Now, I put a scenario where I thought that Lacey was just going to destroy Becky, but not enough to beat her. And that Becky wouldn't have enough time within the rest of the pay-per-view to really like heal and be good enough to go against Charlotte too many belts. But obviously, I think whoever was running the show, Triple H, he's like, you know what, we're gonna get all this out of the way now. We're gonna do this. This is how I want it played out. And I think it was opportune because allowing those two to just beat on Becky, like, all right, Charlotte, you got your 9th title. You really have to lay insult to injury at this point.
But I think a setup was necessary. Because the way that I had personally booked it was Bailey would have turned, heel by interrupting the Charlotte and Becky match and then cashing in her contract on Becky and then winning the SmackDown Championship. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that Bailey got her due because once again, she can wrestle, she can have a great match, and the fans were actually like chanting for her and they popped big time when she came out. I'm once again very happy for Bailey. I just hope it's not short-lived. I just hope it's not watered down because I saw that promo from Bailey about 3 weeks ago where she was in Charlotte Flair's face and I'm like, finally, like you're not treating her like a little bitty kid. Okay, get out there, do your thing. No, like you're treating her as an athlete, which is the way that she should be treated because she is a great athlete. She's a great asset to the company.
Even though they were like calling it that, like, oh, she's taking an opportunity to a fallen champion, it's like,
did you really want Charlotte as champion
for a 9th time? Like, again, it's not fair to have her catch up to her dad, and it's not fair that we really crown her within what. She's won it twice this year already, at this point. She beat Asuka, and then she beat...
She beat Asuka?
Remember? SmackDown? Before WrestleMania? Yeah, like, you already gave her that belt twice within the year.
And out of context.
Super bad context.
But anyway.
Yes, for the 20 seconds that it lasted, I gave it an A.
Yeah, I think...
Yes, all cash-ins count as a match, by the way.
The third act was definitely needed because if we ended on that second act, that would have it would have felt like Mania where you said all the matches could be good, but if the main event sucked, that's how Money in the Bank would have been for me. The whole thing was great, but if Bailey hadn't cashed, I would have been
like sour taste in your mouth.
Bittersweet.
Moving forward, which should have been a segment, but it wasn't. We have the big dog, the new dog in the yard, Roman Reigns, versus the self-proclaimed greatest performer of all time, Vince McMahon's #1 pick, Elias.
Bring.
I
thought this was brilliant because once again,
it's just been a segment.
Well, I mean, the backstage thing happened where Roman's coming out and you see Elias slowly comes in, and then whacks him in the back with that guitar. And they show the whole thing, how he makes his way out, out into the ring, gets an electric guitar, And Corey
Chastity was pretty legit.
Corey makes a remark. He's like, I think I'm finally an Elias fan just because now he plays electric instead of acoustic.
You freaking troll.
But I liked it. I'm like, it's only a matter of seconds until Roman comes out because you can pretty much guess at that point.
Well, the fact that an Elias segment actually ended
without an interruption.
Once, yeah.
So Roman comes out, gets a 6-second win or however long it was. 20 seconds.
I call it 6 because, good lord, 3 seconds to start the match. 1 second to start it, 2 to spear him, and then the 3 count.
Yeah. So, I honestly, again, I don't think anybody really wanted to see Elias versus Roman. If I'm being serious for a minute.
What's the point of it?
But I think, once again, this is what I'm talking about. This has Triple H's fingerprints all over it. He guessed that, hey, no one is really here for this match. How can we spice it up? How can we take it from
what shouldn't be to what can be?
Yeah. How can we play with it a little bit? So yeah.
I think that's why I like the fact that he was producing the show this time around.
Or allegedly, but I mean, it has his fingerprints all over it.
My thing, too, with all this is the matter that you don't need, like you said, you don't need Elias to have a match sometimes. I'm going to have a good segment.
Yeah.
Even if he looks like the ass out of it. It's still a good moment.
Yeah.
Either way, I gave it an F. As a match.
Wow. Okay.
If it was a segment, it would have been. It wouldn't even be graded, but it'd be an ace for the segment. Moving on.
Did Dan say anything about that?
It's simple. Roman goes over after an Elias segment.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, literally. Moving on to the Universal Championship match, we have Sako Rollins Jan, Seth freaking Rollins versus supposedly the man who built the SmackDown house, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Oh.
They don't want none. They don't want none.
Match of the night?
It's between that and the other championship match for me. For me, at least. But I actually would give this a good close match of the night. I swear, this is something that AJ's needed in a while.
Oh, definitely.
According to Dan, what did he say? The AJ and Seth fight in what is probably AJ's best match of the last year, in my opinion. Seth retains as expected, given the status of Super Showdown. Regardless of Super Showdown, I think the way this match went down was pretty good. I mean, this is something that AJ's needed because we've seen the matches he's had within the last year with Samoa Joe and Shinsuke. They've always either had some kind of issue, some botch, or just like
no interest.
That's it. Same with Seth. In some of his some, not all.
I disagree.
Some.
I disagree.
I only say that because, again, we were supposed to have a really good Seth versus Dean fight, and we never got that.
Is that his fault?
It's nobody's fault. It's booking's fault.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed.
Great spots, great reversals, stuff that you didn't see coming.
I thought when he was going to do, what was it that they were freaking out that he was going to do outside? Like right on the ropes, the Styles Clash, I think.
Did he tease that? That probably just slipped through me, but
and like they're freaking out, like, oh my god, why is he gonna do it there to him? And then I guess Seth breaks out of it.
They had me when it was curb stomp reversed into Styles Clash. For a second, I'm like, oh my god, they're doing it. And then when he kicked out, I'm like, oh, okay. Great match, great spots. Like we said, about damn time that AJ finally has a great match.
I don't think this rivalry is over, though.
Oh, for sure it's not. But,
because you see him go back in, shake Seth's hand, but I felt like that didn't feel genuine to me. I felt like the way it could have played off is like, because he told him in his face, like, oh, this is hard for me to do.
This is hard for me to do.
And in my head, I'm like, Shake his hand and hit him.
That,
Let the rivalry keep going. Go full heel on me already. Like, come on, man. Like, even when you're there, you played a very good heel. They're still hiring, by the way. I don't know why Rob Van Dam has to be there, though.
So, yeah, Seth doing what he usually does, and that's producing great content. AJ usually does too, but we've talked about it this past year. He kind of slipped, and his matches just were not interesting. I'm sorry, but they weren't.
This is a redeemable match for him, though. I mean, it's also the longest match of the night with 19 minutes and 45 seconds.
For good reason. But I enjoyed it 100%. Like I said, Seth is my guy for good reason. So I enjoyed it.
I gave this one an A.
Yeah.
Solid A. Solid performance by both guys. Again, I'm hoping the rivalry's not over. What's going on with Lars Sullivan?
That was a bit nasty.
The dude destroyed 3 people.
Three
People that are not even in his weight class.
He just got done getting fined. I just hope that because of getting busted open, he doesn't get fined again, because that guy, you know.
Dude, he busted himself open. And it felt like he was okay with it.
I got a flashback to the Goldberg thing where he hit his head on the door and came out, and he kept on wiping it, but the blood just kept on coming out.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I think it's just further storytelling of how do we get Lars to be a freak, let him get out there and just destroy.
Who's in your face? Even
I
though
would.
he's branded to SmackDown, he's causing chaos everywhere.
I wouldn't mind a Braun versus Lars feud somewhere down the
The
line.
Monster Among Men versus the Freak.
Yep. That's probably gonna be it should be like a SummerSlam match, but yeah, this is just, you know, one guy coming out and beating 3 jobbers just to show his dominance, basically.
And we never knew who the other 3 in the 6-man match was anyway.
3MB.
Moving on to the WWE Championship match, we have the newly crowned champion Kofi Kingston,
Coffee.
who lost the Jamaican accent, man.
Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican?
Yeah, I have a real problem with that. Versus Owens Mania, Kevin Owens.
KO.
This is also right there at match of the night. Honestly, because I loved it. It was a little shorter than Seth versus AJ. It's still good though.
I thought this was a okay match. I've talked about it, how Kofi's title reign, bless him, hasn't been exactly the most exciting in the world. I will say this, Kofi since Mania has been nailing those Trouble in Paradise kicks. Like, it looks like he's physically kicking your head off, but almost like it's protected. KO, I don't know why he took off his shoes at the end.
Yeah, I was with that.
I don't know.
He's not pulling a Rusev, is he?
But I thought it was good. I thought it was great.
Dan says it was a solid match between them. He's loving Kofi's performance since becoming champion because it seems like match-wise he is getting better. I said this, I think you said it as well, or you agreed to it. He does need to part ways from the gimmick.
We need to, you have to make an adjustment.
He doesn't have to be 100% serious, but also not stay in this playful state of mind of the New Day. Like, don't get me wrong. When he was singles on his own, he was great. When he found the New Day and they formed their 3-man tag, it elevated him.
Yeah.
And put him out there to be known. But when you're the champion, you can't stick around as a gimmick. You're never going to be taken fully serious.
You need to, you hear it all the time how people say you have to evolve. You have to change your character.
Like, Undertaker is a big advocate for that.
Everyone says, oh, we don't like American Badass, but I thought that for the time being, an adjustment was needed.
Seeing as how I kind of grew up with all 3 versions of him. From when he was, the undead.
Deadpan face.
To the talkative, ass-kicking machine, big evil, dead man walking American Badass. back to the Phenom to what was the Johnny Cash song that they used for a while for him?
Ain't no grave that can hold
Yeah.
my body down. Yeah.
When he went back to that, like that's true evolution of your character.
Yeah.
And he said that about a lot of the up and coming talent. Like, yeah, you could be high flying, you could have a solid repertoire of moves, but no one invests in you unless your character evolves. Because once your character evolves, that's how you're going to be remembered. I've known Kofi for like years now. Yeah, he went from the Jamaican guy to being like, you know, a cool, high-flying, badass solo act. Then to, oh, you're a really good heel in the New Day. Yeah, you're funny as a gimmick and a face, but you're a champion now.
Yeah.
It's time for you to really like, hey, I'm here to be your main event guy. I'm here to be the man of the company. It needs to change. I gave this match an A, just like I said. It felt really good to me. I like seeing Kevin Owens. I think it's kind of hard to ever see Kevin Owens really as a face. Like, if you keep him where he doesn't speak as much on the mic, like kind of like before we knew he was going to do a turn, like remember when he came in, he stunned somebody and just walked out?
Yeah.
You keep him like that, it's believable he's a face. He's more like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And then comes the main event of the night. I don't know why. The Mr. Money in the Bank match. I'm going to mention him last. Ali.
What?
I'm sorry, did you say something?
No, sorry, cleansing my throat. Yeah.
Versus Andrade.
CN.
Hey, there it goes again.
Yeah,
You got to get a check.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Versus...
I'm sorry, what was that?
Baron Corbin.
I didn't.
Baron Corbin. Ugh.
Everybody's favorite song.
Except mine. Versus the Scottish psychopath.
Drew McIntyre.
Versus Finn Balor.
Bless you. Bless
The current Intercontinental Champion. Versus the man with the many voices in his head. Randy Orton. Versus the high-flying, amazing Ricochet.
Ricochet.
I can't say he's in the match. Do I have to? He did win it, right?
Yeah.
Does that count that he's in?
Their history books are going to indicate that. Who was the 8th member?
Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Paul Heyman.
No, he wasn't in the match.
No, but either way, I gotta introduce him like he would. Counting in the former defending, the former reigning, undisputed champion. And now, oh God, I can't believe this happened. Mr. Money in the Bank winner.
Or Beast in the Bank.
Beast in the Bank. Brock Lesnar. God, how do you do it, Paul?
Wow, okay. As you recuperate.
How does he do it?
I don't know, but while you recuperate, I thought this match started off kind of funny. You have Randy Orton doing the backdrop onto the announce table. He actually gets, a chant going. Drew McIntyre was presented as, I'm going to say it, as a beast in this match.
Didn't we have him picked? Let me see. I could swear.
I said Sami Zayn.
You said him,
Drew
but you
McIntyre,
said Drew was your third.
And then Andrade was
I said Drew would be my second and that Sammy would be the first. Dan was hoping for Drew to be the first.
So, I will go on record to say this has been the sickest Money in the Bank match. Sickest not in the vein of like, oh, really cool. Sickest as in like nasty. if you really go back and you look, this was a less playful Money in the Bank match and more of a sickening one. Which is why I say, bless you, Finn Balor. He took 3 nasty bumps.
Flip into the powerbomb onto the ladder.
I don't know if it was a botch saved spot because Andrade hits the ladder first and then Finn hits it.
I thought he hit it, and I was just
It was
like,
kind of wonky.
did you slip?
And was it Corey or Michael who was like, look at him explode off the ladder. Like, he bounces as if the ladder is a trampoline. He just bounces off of
Michael Cole. And I was just like, holy shit.
Comment of the night is when a spot happened. I forget what it was. There was a spot that happened, and Michael Cole, what the hell is wrong with these guys? And Corey...
It's the match!
And Corey saves it and goes, you gotta destroy everyone to win the match.
He's not wrong.
So...
I mean, okay. If I could be serious for a minute, it's chaos incarnate. This match calls for it no matter what you do. Because this time around, it felt like, okay, I think Triple H unhinged the leashes off everybody, and he's like, do what you gotta do. Make it entertaining. Entertain me. I swear, like, I so many moments I'm like, that's gonna hurt.
That choke slam onto the ladder.
Ugh.
How was he even standing?
I don't know. I don't know how anyone's still standing.
Literally in my mind, I'm like, Finn, stay down.
Like, you have a belt already. You don't need... What are you gonna do with it? You're gonna keep the Intercontinental, cash in on Seth or Kofi? What's it gonna do for you? I was just like, dude, you need to stay. You need to stop. Stop, for the love of God.
And as soon as it seems like Ali,
you okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's
something about, like, I guess, like, not having the right
Yeah.
to say something, right? I don't know. WWE.
out comes.
You just hear that music. I kid you
Here's the
not. I
thing.
was shocked.
My eyes opened up. I told you before we recorded, for surprise of the show, it was great because it gets
yeah.
you. It got you. But then when he won, I'm like,
The fact that he ran down. He ran for it. I was just,
and he knocked out a camera guy.
that's typical Brock for you, though.
Um,
You can't say that's not
Even
Brock.
when he doesn't try.
He's still him.
I remembered back to Hell in a Cell last year, where Roman gets the title off of Brock. We go to Braun Strowman's cash-in match, where it was Braun versus Roman in Hell in a Cell. And I remember Dan was like, we just got off of Brock not having the title, and you bring him back into the title picture somehow? That's what I thought of this, because WrestleMania was a month and a week ago.
It seems like 5-6 weeks. It seems
Yeah.
like so much time's passed, even though it hasn't.
Yeah. So you just got off of that, and already he's Money in the Bank? He's Mr. Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank. I'm sorry. Beast in the Bank.
Beast in the Bank. So,
But here's the thing. If he doesn't go to Raw for the cash-in, I accept it. I fully accept the fact that he wins there. Because it's no longer about the Universal Championship. It's no longer holding that belt hostage. Do I still have a problem with the fact that he goes for Kofi's belt? Yes, I do. Because we still haven't seen an evolution of Kofi's character.
yeah.
And Vince just has the biggest heart-on to have Brock hold the belt.
And we've talked about this before. Hot potato. When you play too much hot potato with the title,
You get bored with it. You get
there's no meaning.
Thank you. And don't get me wrong. I've always been a fan of Brock Lesnar since
I
the
still am.
beginning of his career.
I still am.
Yeah.
So,
I even enjoyed his stint in UFC. Like, granted, yeah, it was short-lived, but it seemed like Brock was developing into that here in WWE, because In UFC, you don't have to defend your belt as much. You obviously fight in more brutal circumstances, hence the recovery time is needed. But in WWE, it's not.
No off season.
No, but Brock gets an off season. Brock gets time to heal. Brock gets to get paid like a full timer for part time hours.
And again, don't remember if it was Michael or Corey, but they're like, everybody in the match broke their bodies, and then you just have Brock come in and just win 20 seconds in.
So this is the thing I wrote, which like it sums up the whole match. Like, so anyone can claim the briefcase now. Anyone can just decide, oh, I'm in the match and now I can win it. Really, WWE? Really?
What did Dan say?
Dan wrote, and I quote, "And finally the Money in the Bank. Awesome moments all around. Predicted Drew, and obviously we got Brock Lesnar." Wait, obviously? Nope. Because Homeboy wasn't in the match, and I'm still not tired of being tired of him. So this was a letdown. New face is my ass, WWE. He's right, though.
Yeah, he is.
And again, Dan may be tired of Brock. Again, I'm not.
I would love to see Brock, but not in the title picture.
No, put him back in singles competition.
Take him to Super Showdown. Put him against, I don't know. Say something.
Randy Orton. Don't put him against Undertaker. Don't put him against Goldberg.
No. Do not touch Goldberg and Lesnar. That had a good bookend. You said that story. Don't touch it.
Like,
ever.
let's just close that forever.
Yeah, forever.
Like, give him Lars Sullivan.
Yeah.
Give him a beast versus if you have a beast versus a beast, you can make Brock come out of that hole. Oh, I'm just here as a part-timer. I'm just a fighter. You know, I just want to be a champ. You can put him in a storyline where it's like, I used to be the beast around here. I used to be the one that terrified people. Who the hell are you to say that you are the new beast in the WWE? No one claims that but me.
Yeah.
If you build around that, why not? Hell, give Brock the Intercontinental Championship if you want to give him a belt.
Oh, God.
Give him some kind of belt.
Well, there is
Just
a new
not-
title being unveiled today, so...
Oh, God. So we're literally recording few hours, almost 24 hours after Money in the Bank, and it was announced, 5 times last night?
5 times.
5 times.
5 times.
5 times
5 times.
that Mick Foley will be special guest tonight introducing a new championship belt
Oh
to
my
the
God,
WWE.
they're finally doing the Galaxy title. We go from World to Universal.
To Galaxy. Doesn't Samsung own the word Galaxy at this point? What's more cringeworthy? Or, and somewhere in my heart of the Attitude Era, it just
Say
screams
it.
for this to come back.
Say it.
Maybe he's introducing the Hardcore
There
Championship.
it is.
You know how insane that would be to have a Hardcore Championship in this day?
If you can handle it correctly.
Oh, you can. Actually, no.
But they don't
You
have the
need
rest.
someone in particular to handle it. Someone who produced this whole pay-per-view to handle it. Someone who knows what this belt's history had.
Someone who knows the game. And how you play it.
Someone knows that it's time to play the game. Yeah, I got no more of his things at this point.
You can buy WWE 2K19.
Triple H, for the love of God, just tell the old man to go to sleep. Or to take a year-long vacation. Whatever happened to moments where Vince wasn't on TV?
Oh, those days are gone. Anyway, once again, sick match. Very, very sick match.
Horrible ending.
Yeah, I thought you could have, if you brought him in but didn't have him win, that would have given it a big surprise factor because then you would go out with the bang. You could have even built up Drew and Brock. Like if Brock goes up and then Drew comes out, claymores his ass out of nowhere, and then grabs the briefcase. There you go. You could build on that.
I would have had it where Drew gets the briefcase. He celebrates it, but then you just have Brock just come out there, just standing up there, like in his, like
Jumping
how he
around,
shuffles.
yeah.
Like he does it for a while. Drew's like, "Let's go! Come on, come at me." Brock gets ready, but then Paul comes out like, "No, no, 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 no.
You don't fight.
Let's
for
make
free.
him wait.
Yeah.
You get paid to fight people. You're not getting this one for free. Come on, bro."
Overpaid.
What would if you had to give this a rating overall or grade?
The match or the entire pay per
The
view?
entire thing.
Entire thing, I'm gonna have to give it a solid A minus. I enjoyed the whole show. There was something for me in each match. There wasn't a point where I'm like, let me fast forward. I was able to watch all of it, and I felt like in each match something happened that was intriguing and wasn't just bland or was thrown in or was shoehorned in, as Dan would say. So I enjoyed Money in the Bank this year personally.
I gave this pay-per-view a C. I gave the match a D, by the way. Everything was great up until that. If that never happened, the match would have been an A. The grade would have been a lot higher for this pay-per-view. Thanks a lot, Brock. Thanks a lot.
Closing sentiments.
Since we don't have since we don't have a Raw event that's happened yet, because obviously we're on West Coast time and it hasn't aired yet. Who knows the direction of where we're going with Becky as far as her Raw championship? We said the Seth rivalry with AJ is far from over. Who knows where this wild card rule is going to bring out tonight? Moving on with SmackDown. Happy for Bayley.
Yes.
Let's have her. If she needs to build a rivalry with Charlotte, fine. But as long as Bayley gets over all the time, I'm okay with it. I don't think the Kofi and Kevin thing is far from over. But I don't know who to put in front of him now. I don't know who'd be next for Kofi. What happened to the women's tag belts?
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Like, so did everybody else in the universe.
Well, last I checked, it was still around the waist of the Iconics.
They're cute as hell, though. They're actually pretty cute.
Not as cute as my Lexi.
Oh, there it is. And I hope that championship that's revealed tonight is not a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, that's my closing sentiment. Let's see what happens with the continuing of the new year.
So there you go, guys. We just reviewed Money in the Bank. Overall, I thought that it was a solid pay-per-view. It was fun. There was something in it at each, turning point at each match. We'll just have to see where things go from here. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time.